Hello, and today I'm going to be explaining the acrosomal reaction. For fertilization to happen, a sperm must first fuse and then penetrate the plasma membrane of an egg. Penetrating the egg's protective layers presents a significant challenge, which is why the acrosomal reaction happens. So, let's first draw the simple structure of an egg with the cytoplasm on the left. The cytoplasm contains nutritional reserves in the form of yolk, which is rich in lipids, proteins, and polysaccharides. Then there's a fertilization membrane, the receptors that will later attach to the sperm, and finally the egg jelly, which is a gelatinous layer that surrounds the eggs of many organisms and releases species-specific chemoattractants that activate and guide the sperm to the egg. Some important parts of the sperm are its tail, which propels the sperm to the egg and helps it burrow through the egg coat, the nucleus, which contains the genetic material, and the acrosome, which is a unique membranous organelle that has many hydraulic enzymes and is essential to the next step we will talk about. And then also the sperm receptors, which help bind to the protein receptors on the egg. Once the sperm approaches the egg, molecules in the jelly coat trigger what is called the acrosomal reaction in the sperm. The reaction begins with the discharge of hydraulic enzymes from the acrosome. The enzymes are released and partially digest the coat. Getting rid of the jelly coat allows a sperm structure called the acrosomal process to elongate and penetrate the coat. The acrosomal process is made up of actin filaments that help the sperm bind to receptors in the egg plasma membrane. The receptors bind with the lock and key recognition, which is especially important to animals with external fertilization because, for example, in a sea urchin, the surrounding water may have eggs and sperms from other species, and you don't want foreign gametes to attach to the sea urchin. Contact between the tip of the acrosomal process and the receptor of the egg leads to the fusion of the sperms and eggs plasma membranes. The sperm nucleus then enters the egg cytoplasm as ion channels open. So how does the organism ensure that only one sperm enters the egg, preventing polyspermy? If polyspermy were to occur, the entry of multiple sperm nuclei would result in an abnormal number of chromosomes in the embryo and would be lethal. The egg has many mechanisms to block polyspermy, and one is called depolarization, which is triggered when the sperm binds to the receptor. Now, if we look more closely at the egg membrane, there's also sodium ion channels within it, and then the sperm receptors. Prior to the sperm binding, the ion channels are closed. When the channels are closed, the inside of the egg is negatively charged, and the outside is positively charged. When the sperm comes and binds with the receptor, it causes the opening of the sodium ion channels. The opening of the sodium channels causes an influx of sodium ions into the egg, which also means the positive charge goes into the egg. When the sperm enters the egg, that causes the ion channels to close, and now the inside of the egg is positively charged, and the outside is negatively charged. When the other sperm go to bind to the egg, they can't because of the negative charge. For the sperm to bind, it needs some proteins to get activated, which can only happen with a positive charge. Depolarization is a fast block to polyspermy and only lasts for about a minute or so. So a longer block has to be established, which is called the cortical reaction, and will be explained in the next video. Thanks for watching this, and I hope you learned a little bit about the acrosomal reaction and depolarization.